Wednesday morning, Dog Nation, and welcome to the start of the early signing period. My name is Brandon Adams. We are live here at Dog Nation World Headquarters, where we're going to be busy all day covering the sights and sounds of the early signing day from 3 different states, at least today, as a Dog Nation will be bringing you coverage all day long on Before the Hedges recruiting specials presented by Kroger. Going to give you an update on our schedule coming up here in just a couple of moments. Let me begin, though, before we kind of get to what else is going to happen throughout the rest of the day, with sending out some congratulations, as letters of intent already roll in for 2019 signees to the Georgia program. I thought it was really appropriate that the first one we saw this morning came from the 5-star prospect, the nation's #1 prospect, and really in a lot of ways the vocal leader of this 2019 class for Georgia, Nolan Smith. He paved the way for what has been a steady stream of commits after that. So Nolan, who has been a leader on this class, the entire recruiting cycle, also a leader here today on this signing period, getting things started with a bang. And I think that Smith has some great outsized value in terms of the mainstream media that pays more attention to recruiting on a day like this than any other time in the calendar year. They'll be able to look at that and say, yes, Georgia did indeed land the nation's #1 prospect, and that'll really, I think, establish the narrative, which is going to once again return Georgia to very near the top of the recruiting rankings here in 2019. It's going to be a busy day around Dog Nation. Let me give you a little bit of an idea of what you can expect next on our Before the Hedges special coverage presented by Kroger. Let's take a look at the schedule right now. First of all, as per usual, Dog Nation Daily gets rolling at 10 a.m. this morning. Now, it'll be a little different version of Dog Nation Daily in that we will be kind of live in the moment. It'll still be a podcast, what it always is. So if you're a podcast listener normally, you'll still have a podcast today. But on a news-breaking day like this, as news breaks, especially if it's something unexpected, we'll be there to cover that for you live at 10 a.m. And then 2 things I'm really excited about. Dog Nation going to bring you live video coverage of 5-star running back Trey Sanders' announcement. It takes place from the state of Florida later on this afternoon. We'll be on the scene there to bring you all those sights and sounds. Obviously, Sanders, as you're probably well aware, choosing between Georgia, Alabama, and Florida. His most recent visit on the final weekend before signing day was to Florida. At one time thought to be a strong Alabama lean, but Georgia has done some work here to make this one much closer. Has it done enough to push itself across the finish line and get Sanders services? We'll find out live on video shortly after 1 p.m. today, right here on these Dog Nation video channels. And then after that, we'll be back on the air just before 2 p.m., sometime around 1:45, 1:50 p.m., to bring you live coverage from the Memphis area, Horn Lake, Mississippi, for 5-star linebacker Nakobe Dean. Stop me if you've heard this before, but another battle between Georgia and Alabama. The third school in for Dean, in all likelihood, is probably Ole Miss, despite the fact there's been some LSU chatter. If there's a third school involved for Dean, as Jeff Sintel's reported, it's probably more likely to be Ole Miss than really anybody else there for Dean. This is another one of those nail biters for Georgia fans, much like the Sanders decision could go down to the wire. The same thing is true for Nakobe Dean as well. This one could go certainly down to the wire, and as we watch, I'll be just like you, with my popcorn ready, as the saying goes, hoping to hear some good news for Georgia, but certainly waiting to see what happens beyond that. Now, there'll be live break-ins during the day as news warrants. As I said, if something surprising happens, if Georgia adds a player that's not necessarily on the radar of expectations, we'll obviously bring that to you. And then one way or another, we'll kind of wrap up our coverage around 5 p.m. tonight with a very special Before the Hedges presented by Kroger, looking back on the entirety of the day, and then with some quick early thoughts on what might still be left for Georgia as it heads towards February and the true end of the 2019 recruiting cycle. So we're busy here today. We're Dog Nation Daily at 10 a.m. We're in Florida for Trey Sanders. We're in Horn Lake, Mississippi for Nakobe Dean. And back at 5 p.m. for Before the Hedges presented by Kroger. We'll hope you'll make your plans to plan your day around our Dog Nation video coverage. All of it presented by Kroger here on these Before the Hedges recruiting specials. By the way, speaking of Kroger, let me also get you ready for something if you happen to be in Rome today. At 1476 Turner McCall Boulevard from 4 to 6 p.m., Coach Vince Dooley, who we were lucky enough to have on Dog Nation Daily last week, will be signing a couple of his great books there. So see you at the Kroger in Rome today, starting at 4 p.m. for a great Vince Dooley book signing. I'll also see you back here at 10 a.m. for Dog Nation Daily Live, and throughout the day for announcements from Trey Sanders, Nakobe Dean, and a whole lot of fun and surprises. Thanks to Kroger for making it all possible. We'll look forward to seeing you throughout the day on the Dog Nation video channels, and hope the early signing periods is fun for you as we think it'll be for us. Thanks for being with us.